Together we stand, a family so strong, in unity of self-maze where we all belong. With love in our hearts, we share the same goal, to lift up each other and
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. It is 10 o'clock. I usually say it's 11 o'clock, but I am with it today. It is 10 o'clock. Welcome, everybody, to this beautiful Sunday. Ooh, it's the last Sunday in April, isn't it? Wow. It is the last Sunday in April. April 26th, you guys, welcome to this beautiful service. Welcome to everybody who is here with us in person and also online. I was doing a little bit of reading about today's date. I don't know a whole lot about numerology, but it's fascinating to me. What the numbers today mean, they mean or indicate service and impact. So service and impact, so today's master number is 22. It is often tied to creating things that benefit others, not just personal success, but something lasting or helpful. Think about that. It's also considered to be a day that isn't just about let's think about it. It's a day where we start doing it. So take one little step toward that big goal. All right, with that, welcome again, everybody. My name is Elise Ratliff. I'm on platform today. So good to see everybody in person and online. Thank you to Charmaine and Carrick for the beautiful yellow flowers up here. Yellow and white, they're so pretty. Thank you very much for sharing. How to match my dress. Do we have any visitors today? Anybody visiting us from? Oh, I see a hand back there. Yes, what's your name, young lady?
My name is Barbara.
Hi, Barbara.
Don't say Barbara yet.
Thank you for
I'm
coming
visiting
today.
from Oakwood.
From Oakland. Thank you for showing up today, Barb. We welcome you.
My pleasure.
We have a blessing message that we'd like to share with everybody today. If we would say this together. We love you, we bless you, and we welcome you. This morning we've got a great lineup, which I'll be sharing with you. We'll start with music from Barb Horton and Brian Palmerino this morning. Holy, Holy Way. That's a fun one. And then I will be back up after that to tell you what is coming up next, so stay tuned.
We're still the JaJas today. Yes. Jeannie can't be with us. She's at a YOU. Yes. She's at a YOU event, so thank you so much. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me know that love is all around me.
Let me know that love is all around me.
Oh, let me
This morning, as I mentioned, we've got a wonderful lineup. We've got Chloe Hankin sharing the opening prayer with us this morning. Her first time up here, so we'll give her a lot of love for that. Following that, I will be doing, I guess you're not doing that, do you? I will be doing the opening, or the daily word for you. Sorry, you guys, I'm multitasking this morning. I will do the daily word, and then after that, we've got some music going into meditation. So after that beautiful song, if you would hold on to your Zen and just keep your silence so we can keep that beautiful feeling as we go into the message. Today we have a guest with us today. I'm going to be honored to introduce her in a little bit. Her name is Amanda Sue Briggs, and before she comes up to speak, I will tell you a little bit more about her.
Dear Presence, infinite love and breath of life, we gather here today in the sanctuary of this moment, opening our hearts to the awareness of the one power and one presence. Let's take a moment to reflect on the people in our lives who are different from those around us. What steps can we take today to build a greater sense of unity of those around us? In this unity, we affirm presence, that God is good and God is everywhere. Connection, that we are never separate from the source of one another. And purpose, that we're here to be an expression of love, light, and healing. Let us pray. God, you know how much the division exists in this world. I pray that your church will serve as an example of unity that only your love can bring. Help us promote unity in every environment I enter, seeking to understand others and keeping my focus on Christ. May the words spoken today resonate with our highest selves, and may the silence we share deepen our realization of truth. We bless this service, our community, and the journey we are on together. With grateful hearts, we step into this hour of worship, knowing that all is well. And so it is.
Thank you, Chloe. That was a beautiful prayer. Thank you for sharing that with us this morning. And good morning again, everybody. Today's daily word is blessed. How perfect is that?
Yes.
Blessed. I am blessed with peace, calm, and the love of God. Today, if someone asks me how I am, I will smile and respond, I am blessed. This simple declaration will set the tone for the day, encouraging me to notice blessings large and small, especially the little things that I take for granted. I will also be mindful that God is the source of all of my blessings. I find my greatest blessing is in the grounding myself in God's grace. It brings me peace, calms my fears, and is a bright guiding light in dark and difficult times. In the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus described the blessings of life, reminding those gathered that the truest wealth is not measured by money and power. I take those words to heart and feel deeply grateful. I am spiritually blessed, enriched by God's unwavering love. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they see God. From Matthew chapter 5, verse 8. And now we've got another song with Barb and Brian, and then our meditation and our message after that. And Amy. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my love, I send my love over the mountain, over the mountain. I send my love, I send my love over the sea, over the sea. Send my love, I send my love into the heavens, into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my joy, send my joy in over the mountains, over the mountains. I send my joy, send my joy over the sea, over the sea. I send my joy, I send my joy into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my peace, send my peace over the mountain, over the mountains. Send my peace, send my peace over the sea, over the sea. Send my peace, send my peace into the heavens, into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my love, send my love over the mountain, over the mountains. I send my love, send my love over the sea, over the sea. I send my love, send my love into the heavens, into the heavens, and it returns to me. Yes, it returns to me. It always returns to me.
Today's meditation will be on healing. Now, you might expect me to talk about, having you focus your energy on something that is an ailment, something that needs healing. But instead, think in terms of if you get a cut, you don't do anything special, it heals on its own. So that's what this is all about. I call it, it's another aspect of the Isaiah effect. Close your eyes and get comfortable in your seat. Dispense with anything that may be on your mind right now. Let your mind go blank. And to assist you in that, I'm going to have you picture in your mind's eye a blank slate and picture a number 10 on that blank slate. It suddenly becomes a number 9. And then it's a number 8 that you can see in your mind's eye on that blank slate. It's no longer blank. Each time it goes down a number, you're in a deeper and deeper place. Okay, let it go down through the numbers. Now it's a number 5. Perhaps now it's a number 3. Each time it goes down, you're in a deeper and deeper place. Till you get to the bottom, number 1 and number 0. I want you to focus your mind's eye on that part of your brain. This is the control center of everything. This is the hypothalamus. It controls all bodily functions. What you're doing is you're creating a proximity effect from your mind's eye to your brain. It's a healing will happen below the conscious level. It's even deeper than the subconscious. It's in a realm below the subconscious. It's a mind-brain interface. The healing is operated automatically, directed by the parts of the brain that control the body. The brainstem, focus your mind on the brainstem. For that is the life-sustaining function that controls breathing, heart rhythm, blood pressure, and healing. That is where the body directs its energy into becoming whole. So focus your energy now on that part of your brain that promotes and creates healing. That's what you want to invigorate. You want to have a whole, complete brain. Nothing in there that's going to disrupt that process. The hypothalamus is the master controller. It controls hunger, thirst, body temperature, emotional responses. It also plays in healing. It's a big part of healing. The cerebellum controls the motor, controls how you raise your arm or point your finger. It involves balance and posture. But you know, they're all connected. It's all part of the brain that is controlling the body. Finally, the cerebellum, conscious movement, senses, speech, reasoning, and emotion. It's all one big unified system that brings about healing. Now, I want you just to go into your mind's eye on a very personal level. There's nothing I can specifically say to you, but you know what you want to do. You know what needs to be done. Don't think in terms of what needs to be done, though, just in terms of invigorating that brain, making that brain healthy, creating that connection between the conscious, the subconscious, and those levels below that will affect healing. Just keep that going. See that brain being very healthy in your mind's eye. Take this feeling with you when you come back to the conscious realm. Know that it is always there for you to invigorate your mind and brain, working together to create healing. It'll automatically know where to send its healing energy to make it happen. Open your eyes and return back to this place.
Thank you, Tom. That was the perfect meditation to lead us into our special message for today. It is my honor to introduce our special guest this morning. Her name is the Reverend Amanda Sue Briggs. And Amanda Sue is an ordained Unity minister. She believes in the transformative power of spirituality, knowing that when we heal our inner world, we change our outer experience in powerful ways. She blends spirituality and mental health to help people create happier, healthier lives within their own minds. She is known for her warmth, humor, and authenticity. Please help me welcome the Reverend Amanda Sue Briggs.
Well, good morning, everyone. So, tell me if you've ever done this or if I'm the only one. Have you ever needed your glasses, and so you go to all of the normal places that you keep your glasses, and they're not there? And so you start expanding your search to some unusual places, like you're checking in the couch cushions, thinking like, did I leave them? And then finally you find them, and they've been on your head the whole time. Anyone? Yeah. Or have you ever been walking around your house looking for your phone while you're talking on your phone? So our brains can be kind of silly, right? Sometimes our brains seem like they just get things wrong. Sometimes it might even be a little frustrating, right? Like, come on, brain, you're making us look bad here, you know? But then at the same time, we know that our brains are incredibly powerful and wonderful, and they're capable of so many amazing things. I mean, we have our brain to thank for the fact that we can even experience life, right? And Unity teaches that not only that, but our brains are creative. That it is through our brain that we create our experience of our lives. Charles Fillmore even went so far as to say the one and only formative power given to humankind is the power of our thought. That it is the end all be all. That is how we experience and create the life that we experience, is through our minds. So on the one hand, it is incredibly powerful and wonderful, and on the other hand, our brains can be kind of silly and miss the mark and do some weird things. So it's like, how do we reconcile that, you know? How do I treat this silly, wonderful mind and accept some of the things that don't go so well, and also affirm that it is my creative power? So that's what we're going to talk about today. And I think in order to have that conversation, we first have to understand how our minds actually work. So way back at the turn of the 20th century, when Unity was first being founded, Charles Fillmore was teaching about this greater spiritual reality. That underneath or above or interwoven, whatever language makes the most sense to you, the reality that we see, there is a greater spiritual realm that operates on laws just like our physical world operates on natural laws. And what Charles propositioned is that our job in this human lifetime as spiritual beings is to attune ourselves to that greater reality. So he gave us these two different terms. One he called sense consciousness. Has any longtime Unity people heard of that term? So sense consciousness is when we're completely identified with just the physical world. It's almost like we're operating from our animal brain or our reptilian brain. Nowadays we might say that when we're in sense consciousness, we're kind of just running on autopilot. We're going off our programming. We're not making a lot of conscious decisions. And so he compared almost like a spectrum. On the one end, there's sense consciousness. And then on the other end of that spectrum is Christ consciousness, where we are attuned and in line with the spiritual truth of who and what we are. And so what Charles said was that if we're living in sense consciousness, things don't typically go so well. That we're reactive and we're constantly the victim of circumstances, and we feel like we have no control over our lives, and we don't see as much goodness and joy and wisdom in our lives. But if we are able to shift our consciousness and our mindset into closer to that Christ consciousness, that then we see the goodness of God, that it flows in and through us and out into the world, that we see God's goodness manifest in our lives. And so what Charles said and what Unity teaches is that the way we shift from being over here into that elevated consciousness is through our minds. These silly, wonderful minds. And so he offered us tools like denials and affirmations and the silence as tools that we can use to start making that shift in consciousness, to change our lives from feeling like we are victims and powerless to shift into knowing the abundance and the fullness and the goodness of the divine. So what I love about this is that Charles Fillmore was talking about neuroscience before he had any of the language for it. Before psychology was even a discipline that you could study in college, before it was something that we had even started to understand, Charles was talking about the way that our mind works. And what's even more amazing is that he was right about a whole lot of stuff. Have you heard that saying, we don't see the world as it is, we see the world as we are? Yeah. And we hear that in spiritual circles to kind of reinforce the idea that what you're seeing out there is really a reflection of what you're holding in your heart and your mind. So if you're seeing a bunch of enemies, a bunch of antagonists, a bunch of people who want to bring you down, that really says more about what's going on inside you than what's going on out there. Do we think that's true?
Yes. Yeah.
Neuroscience would agree. So all of these studies, all of this research that we have done on the brain has shown that on a physiological level, we do not perceive reality, we construct reality. So let me tell you a few ways that this works. What we now know about the mind is that right here at the base of our brain, right above the brain stem that we invigorated with that amazing meditation, right above the brain stem is a group of neurons that we call the reticular activating system, or RAS for short. Now, every moment of every day, your five senses are taking in way more information than your brain can consciously process. Like the world's fastest supercomputer's got nothing on your brain. So let me give you a really physical example. Hold your thumb out like this. Okay, now look past your thumb at everything that you can see. Okay, so that's all the stuff that's coming into your senses. Now look at your thumb. The width of your thumb right there, that is the amount of information that your brain can actively process. All right? So all of that, and that tiny bit is the only amount that you can consciously deal with. So that brings us to the RAS. The RAS's job is to filter all of that to decide what makes it into that little bit that makes it into your awareness. So that means every moment of every day, your brain is making decisions about what it's noticing and bringing to your awareness and what it's just ignoring.
Oh.
Have you ever driven home and then when you got there you realize you don't remember the drive at all? Okay, that's your RAS. You ever had your eye on a brand new car and you know the exact make, model, and color that you want? And once you make that decision, like that's the car that I want, you start seeing it everywhere? That's your RAS. So what we do is we actually train without realizing it. We train our RAS on what's important to us. And so our RAS then makes decisions about, okay, that's the type of stuff I'm going to show them. And everybody is different. So even though you're all looking at me right now, some of you are noticing my hair because maybe you've got thoughts about your own hair. Some of you are noticing my tattoos because maybe you've got thoughts about tattoos, right? Some of you are paying attention to the timbre of my voice. Some of you are really noticing just the flowers. Some of you are noticing the marks on the floor, right? So even though we're all looking at the same thing, our RAS is showing us different things. The craziest example I've ever had of my RAS at work, I like LaCroix. Does anybody else drink LaCroix? It's like that sparkly water with just like a hint of flavor. Comes in like a can. I actually don't drink LaCroix. I drink the Kirkland brand of LaCroix, Costco version. So I had one day where I had gotten a lime LaCroix out of the fridge and I was drinking it, and sort of like my glasses, I sat it down somewhere and then couldn't remember where it was. And I hate losing things, like it really just irks me. And so when I went through my entire house 2 times and still couldn't find it, I was like, okay, I am gonna find this dang can of LaCroix. So I looked in every single room, like looked across every surface, like really paid attention. Went through the whole house, couldn't find it. So then I'm sitting there, really thirsty, but too stubborn to go get another can of LaCroix. And it dawns on me, I didn't grab a can of LaCroix this morning, I grabbed a bottle of Perrier. And so I go into my office, and right next to my laptop, where I looked at least 5 times, is my bottle of Perrier. Because my RAS knew that I was looking for a can, even when my eyes perceived that bottle, it didn't register. So your RAS actually makes you blind to things it's not trained to notice, and makes you hyper aware of the things that it is attuned to. So you're not seeing reality as it is. You're seeing what your brain has decided you need to see. Let me give you another example. This one I'm sure you've all heard of, confirmation bias. Have you heard of that? So confirmation bias is an unconscious bias in our brains that tends to draw our attention to any facts, any information that confirms what we already believe, while making us ignore and dismiss things that contradict our beliefs. You ever have someone who was absolutely wrong about something and you try to convince them of it and it just doesn't work? Yeah, you ever that way yourself? Never. That is an unconscious bias at work. You all see that? So there's another aspect of our brain that I think is really interesting when it comes to our spiritual practices and growing spiritually, and that is the default mode network, or the DMN for short. Now the DMN isn't an area of our brain, it's a mechanism of our brain. And like the name implies, it's our default mode. So when we're not pushing our brain to do something, when we're not focusing on something specific, our DMN, our default mode network, is active. Now what the default mode network does is it is like a self-referential loop that runs in your mind that you're not aware of, that is forming a narrative about who you are and what the world's like and what it all means. So pretty important stuff, right? Our identity, who we think we are, what we think we're capable of, the way that the world works. That DMN is reinforcing that narrative in your brain every time it's at rest. And it is based completely on memory and past experience. How many of you have had past experiences that teach you something about the world that you no longer believe? Or teach you something about yourself that you no longer believe is true? And yet below the level of your awareness, that DMN is continuing to reinforce that old story. So our brains are pretty powerful, and this is all stuff that a normal, healthy, functioning brain is doing without your awareness. And that's not even touching on those of us who might experience symptoms of depression or have anxiety, or if we're in a fear state, then there's a whole other host of silly, wonderful things that our brain does. So we don't perceive reality as it is. Our brain constructs it. And a whole lot of things happen below the level of awareness. So what do we do with that? And that's just a few of the things. There's a lot of other interesting things. Oh, I'll give you one other interesting one. Do you guys like the brain stuff?
Yes.
Okay, let me give you one other interesting one. They did this study, I'm gonna borrow your piece of paper, where they showed a bunch of people, imagine this has a bunch of dots on it, just random dots. So they'd show you this page with a bunch of dots for a couple seconds, and then they'd take it away. And then they would have everybody, all the participants in the study, come up one by one and tell the researchers how many dots they think are on the page. So you don't have enough time to count it, you just have to guess. And then at random, they would tell each person, you're an overestimator. You overestimated, you underestimated, you underestimated, it wasn't even real, it was just random, but the participants didn't know that. So then later, they picked one participant and they gave him a whole bunch of money. And they said, your job is, you need to divide up this money however much you want among your fellow participants, and you can do it in any way that you want. There's no rules. You just have to give all of this money to the other participants. The only thing that they knew about the other people was whether they were an overestimator or an underestimator of the dots. On average, they gave the people that were in their group, so underestimators gave other underestimators, an average of 37% more money than the people in the other group. So what this shows is that our brain has a bias where we form in-groups and out-groups. These are my people, those are the other people. And if we have that much of a preference for people in our in-group, based on something as silly as did you over or underestimate the number of dots on a page, imagine how much stronger that is for people that we share an ideology with, a gender with, an age with, based on political party, right? So these are all below our conscious awareness. I was at a tennis match, a high school tennis match earlier this week, and while we were waiting, our daughter's a freshman, while we were waiting for her match to start, I got to watch the #1 varsity singles match. So the top girl from each team playing against each other. And it was the last match of the season this week, so as you can imagine, it was a pretty intense tennis match. They were fighting hard for every single point. And here's what was really interesting, was between the points, one of the girls would talk to herself, like out loud. And so you could hear everything that she was saying. She did it quietly, but we were close enough that you could hear everything she was saying between the points. And so she would call herself by like her childhood nickname. I was sitting next to her mom. She would call herself by her childhood nickname and almost like coach herself or give herself a pep talk, you know? Like, okay, you don't have to go hard every time, slow it down a little bit. All right, just get your serve in, like coaching herself, talking to herself out loud. And it was such a fascinating experience because it's like seeing into somebody's brain, listening to them talk to themselves out loud. And I wonder, how often do you notice your own self-talk? If in a very stressful moment, whatever is going on in your brain, if you started saying it out loud, what would you learn about the way you talk to yourself? You know, when it comes to these things that our silly, wonderful brain does, the most important thing that we can do is to just start noticing. Just start noticing what our brain is doing. Oh, for some reason, I just wanted to gravitate towards this person instead of that person. That's just an interesting thing to notice. When I was really stressed out earlier today, I started saying some mean stuff to myself. Just noticing what's going on in your brain. And the real trick here is that we've got to learn to notice what's going on in our brain without judging it. Because that's another thing our brain is really good at, isn't it? Is judging. And that's what it's designed to do. But when we turn that on ourselves, it really doesn't help the matters. One of the best ways, spiritually and scientifically, that we can get some distance from those automatic mechanisms in our brain is through meditation, or what Charles Fillmore called the silence. When we get into that state when we're sitting in meditation, where you start to be not quite aware of your body anymore, where you're really centered in and you start to feel kind of open and light, that's the silence, what Charles Fillmore called the silence. Has anybody experienced that before in meditation? Yeah, okay. When we're in that state, a few things happen. Number one, that default mode network, that unconscious programming that reinforces that old story of who you are, it shuts off. It shuts off, it turns off. Your brain, we know this from brain imaging studies, that it actually changes the way that your brain is operating. The other thing that happens is the back of your brain starts emitting theta waves, which we observe in meditation. Do you know the other thing that emits theta waves from the back of your brain? SSRI medication, depression medication. So meditation shuts off the default mode network of your brain so you can make more conscious choices and not run on old programming. And it also protects your brain from depression and mental illness. And it's also the way in which we quiet everything down so that we can feel God's presence, so we can experience God's voice. Who knows H. Emily Cady, author of Lessons in Truth? This was written in like 1910.
I love that book.
Me too. They still use it in seminary at Unity. It's still like one of our main textbooks. Yeah, Lessons in Truth. I think it was written like 1911, I want to say. H. Emily Cady says, when we go apart to get still, that new life, new inspiration, new power of thought may flow in. See, in Unity, we teach that we don't have to go ask God to speak to us. We don't have to ask God for the things that we need. We don't need to ask God to fix things for us. The tap is completely open and always on. That God's abundance, God's love, God's grace, God's wisdom is always flowing into us. We just have to help our brain be ready to receive it. We are the conduit, but we get ourselves all caught up in sense consciousness, and our brain tries to reinforce who it thinks that we are, and it blocks us from experiencing the goodness that is always there. There is nothing that you need to do to grow spiritually. It's not about doing, it is about being. You see, ours isn't a faith where you have to perform, or you have to do the right things, or say the right things, or study from the right teachers to be able to grow into that Christ consciousness. It is already within you. Our job is to prepare the mind so we can know the truth that is always already right there. The capital T, truth. So when we use a tool like meditation or going into the silence, that shuts off that default mode network and it allows us to be more receptive. And then in that receptive state is where we can then use a tool like affirmations. Who uses affirmations? Awesome. This is another really great example of something that the world caught on to later that Unity was teaching like a long time ago. You know, nowadays they teach affirmations to kindergartners, but we were talking about affirmations in a different sense. So some of the flack, I guess, that affirmations get is people might say, oh, well, that's magic thinking. If you think about something, that doesn't mean it's going to come true. But affirmations from the Unity standpoint aren't about magic thinking. It's not, I think red convertible, red convertible, red convertible, and then I get a red convertible. Affirmations are a tool that allows us to impress on our brains the spiritual capital T truth, that greater reality. So when my old program says there are winners and losers and I better be a winner, spiritual truth says God's abundance is for everyone and there is enough for everyone. And so I use affirmations to impress that spiritual truth into my consciousness until it overrides that old programming. And the best time to do that is right after our meditation, because that old programming has quieted down so that we can then use those affirmations to start supplanting that. In Romans 12:2, it says, "Do not be conformed to the teachings of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." Who knew the Bible was talking about neuroplasticity, right? So affirmations are a tool that we use to remind our conscious brain enough that it becomes subconscious of the spiritual truth of who and what we are. I am a child of God. I am infinite. I am abundant. I am joyful. I am blessed. I am wise. Whatever affirmation you want to work with, that's how you do it. It's not magic thinking, trying to make something change out there. It is reminding you in here of what is already true. Helping that silly, wonderful brain finally get on board with who you know you are. So God's goodness is always present. Divine love always flowing through us. Infinite good is here right now. Our job is to teach the silly, wonderful mind how to accept it, to know it, and to live it. Thank you.
Wow, a big thank you to you, Reverend Amanda Sue. That was a beautiful and thought-provoking message. And I'm sitting there thinking, where did I leave my glasses? Are you talking to me? I bet every one of us at some point was thinking, she's talking to me. Yeah. Absolutely. Let's say this affirmation together this morning. I open my mind to the infinite good. Short and sweet. Now let's welcome back the JaJas and Brian with another song for us.
This is one of the very first songs that we wrote when we started going to Unity in 2007. Brian helped record the song. Inspired by Reverend Joel Bear. I don't know if you ever knew him.
Celebrate this creation and my divinity.
along with me. Gifts of gratitude and peace and endless possibilities. The fruit of the Spirit guides me every moment, every day. As I create my new world, my very lifeblood seems to say, I am love in action. I am love in action. I am love in action. Moved by the Spirit every day. I am love in action. I am love in action. I am love in action. Moved by the Spirit every day.
Thank you. That was a beautiful song. And now we come to the time in our service where we have the opportunity for giving. Which is a wonderful way to pay it forward, think of others, and do something good for someone today. Let's say our offering blessing together. Divine love, richly flowing through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am grateful for the blessings of this day. I am grateful for the blessings on the way. Amy, you're getting your steps in today.
Hey guys, do you know this? Gratitude before me. Gratitude behind me. Restart. Thank you. There we go.
Let me see your back.
Here we go. Gratitude before me. Gratitude behind me. Gratitude to the left of me. Gratitude to the right of me. Gratitude above me. Gratitude below me. Gratitude within me. Gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful. 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 Gratitude before me. Gratitude behind me. Gratitude to the left of me. Gratitude to the right of me. Gratitude above me. Gratitude below me. Gratitude within me. Gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful. 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 I'm so grateful.
Wow, that's grateful.
It will.
Will? Yeah, Will. I'm Barb and Briggs.
Let's please say our offering dedication together.
We
We
dedicate
dedicate these tithes to the work of the Spirit of truth. We are one with God's opulence, and we willingly open ourselves to the flow of infinite abundance. With grateful hearts, we give thanks for the prosperity that is ours by divine right. Amen. Thank you, Mr. Ratliff. And now we have announcements. Announcements coming up. This coming up Tuesday, the 28th, we have a opportunity to get together as a community and do some good. How about that? Sack lunches for the East Valley Men's Shelter. That activity has been put together by Judy Adams. There are 3 ways that you can help: donate food items, make a cash donation, and donate your time and help prepare sandwiches. Do you want to add anything else to that, Judy?
We have a good number of volunteers. Thank you all so much, and I'll be texting you or sending you an email today and tomorrow. Reminder, that's at Sunbird in the Lakeview room, which is on the ground floor, far west side of the building. I do still have the cash box out there in case anybody has a little extra in their pockets that they want to lighten their load before they leave today. We would welcome that. And since I still have the microphone, I did put a sign-up sheet out there for, next slide, the craft project. Thank you. Wednesday, May 13th. Maximum cost on that's going to be $3. I just need you to sign up so that I have an idea of how much supplies to buy. And that'll be here in the mirror room.
Thank you, Judy. Lots of fun things coming up in the next few weeks. Jennifer Sheets, who was here with us last week, shared this message with us. She is in the Phoenix Community Choir. They will be performing Mozart's Coronation Mass on Tuesday, May 5th. Doors open at 7. The concert begins at 7:30 in the Bullpit Auditorium of Phoenix College. And on that very last line is a way that you can get tickets if you'd like to do that and support Jennifer. Sounds like a great group. A lot of people are in that, she said. So, and we love Jennifer. Ooh, we've got the metaphysical group. You guys, this is such a wonderful group. If you have or have not come and attended to this group, it is a great way to spend the first and third Wednesday with us in the mirror room. It is led by Sheila Taylor. It is the first and third Wednesdays. Not to confuse everybody for this month, because we have 5 Wednesdays. So typically we go every other Wednesday, so it feels like we should be meeting next week, but that's still April. Right? So we will meet, the first time in May will be on Wednesday, May 6th. So just make a note of that. I say we just show up anyway and see what happens. I would like to do that. Thank you for that, Sheila. Anybody else have any other announcements? Nope? Okay. Let's give a big thank you to everybody who was with us today, all of you in person, everybody watching online. We appreciate you all so much. And thank you to Reverend Amanda Sue Briggs for today's message. Wow. Thank you so much. I look forward to listening to the recording of that again, probably many, many times. So thank you for that beautiful message. Thank you to Barb and Amy and Brian for the music, Charmaine and Carrick for the beautiful flowers, Tom for the meditation, and Derek for everything.
Whoa!
Oh, my apologies. We didn't have you up there. Chloe, thank you so much for the opening prayer this morning. Again, this was Chloe's first time up here. You did a great job. You have a beautiful voice on this mic. So we hope to be hearing more from you. Thank you so much for that. And to send us off into our beautiful week ahead, we've got the peace song. And I'm sure you all would love to stand and sing this together. And Bruce, come grab the mic.
God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. And the presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is, because you are, and I am the I am, and so it is. Amen.
Have a beautiful week.
Through trials and triumphs, we walk side by side in this sacred place. Our spirit